Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at some really interesting source material. It's basically a set of examples of daily conversations.
Right. Designed for English learners that kind of aiming for, real fluency.
Yeah, exactly. And it's less like a textbook and more, I guess, a practical guide. It shows these common everyday chats.
A playbook, almost. Mapping out the interactions you'd likely have.
So our mission here in this deep dive is to really unpack this playbook. Why these chats specifically? What are the sort of hidden rules or patterns they're teaching?
And what does it tell us about what practical everyday fluency actually looks like, according to this source anyway?
We're going to treat these simple dialogues almost like, well, data. What do they show us about the real building blocks of using English day to day? Beyond just the vocab lists.
More about the situation.
Okay, let's get into it. So the source material starts right at the beginning of the day, the morning.
Yep. The first example is a morning conversation. Pretty standard stuff, like asking how someone slept.
Right, or mentioning waking up early. Simple things like coffee, maybe stretching, a quick walk even.
And it flows right into breakfast plans. Is it toast and eggs or maybe oatmeal and fruit?
And that classic question, so what are your plans for today? Covering work or, errands you need to run?
It seems basic, but what's really key here is how it sets up that rhythm of just checking in. It uses simple questions, predictable words about, your immediate world, sleep, food, plans.
Mastering that little exchange is kind of like your first step out the door, conversationally speaking.
Exactly. It's foundational.
Okay, so from that personal start, the source moves us out into the world a bit more, dealing with daily needs, errands, shopping, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the grocery shopping example jumps right into practical stuff like, how often do you shop? Is it, say, once a week? Or maybe just...
when the fridge is empty. Yeah, I saw that.
Right. And listing common items, bread, milk, fruit, veggies, snacks, all the usual suspects.
And I like that it included the way people shop. Like, do you make a list? Or do you prefer shopping in person?
That bit about wanting to see and feel the items versus just clicking online.
Yeah, that felt very real. And then the payment cash versus card.
And acknowledging that card is often just, easier. These aren't just vocabulary words. They're about actions, preferences, how we actually do things.
And that focus on the transaction, it carries over into the shopping for clothes examples.
Yeah.
Asking for specifics like a blue shirt, medium size.
Instantly, you get those key phrases, don't you? Can I help you? What size are you looking for? Can I try this on? Where's the fitting room?
And of course, how much is it? And do you take credit cards? It's like a mini script for a very common task.
Finding, trying, buying. Very goal-oriented.
And that practical focus extends to the post office scenario too. Sending a package somewhere specific, say New York.
Asking about speed, express delivery, checking the cost, paying, getting that estimated arrival time. All necessary steps.
So the big takeaway from these sections seems to be less about deep conversation and more about directness. Efficient communication to get something done.
Exactly. Stating your need, asking for details, confirming. It's about function.
Okay, so you've run your errands. Now you actually bump into people or you want to connect. The source moves into social interactions next.
Making plans is a great example here. It shows that typical structure. First, checking if someone's free. Are you free on Saturday?
Then suggesting something. Lunch, a movie. Agreeing on the details. Okay, 1 p.m. at Green Cafe.
And even the practical follow-up, like making a reservation, plus that social nicety at the end. Looking forward to catching up.
It's like a little dance, isn't it? Coordinating schedules.
Totally. And then there's the one people often dread, small talk with strangers.
Yeah. The examples are spot on, though. Commenting on something universal, like the weather. Nice day, isn't it?
Or asking about the place you're both in. Do you come here often? Sharing a simple thought. It's beautiful.
They even include asking where someone's from or just saying, the people seem friendly. It shows how little you actually need to, break the ice.
A shared observation, a simple question. Finding that quick common ground.
The source also brings in talking about family. Asking about siblings, how close you are, how often you talk.
Right, whether they live nearby or far away, how often you visit, maybe where your parents live.
This feels like a step beyond just breaking the ice. It's moving towards building a bit more rapport.
Yeah, sharing family details can be a way to signal a bit more openness, depending on the culture, of course. The language gets a bit more personal, closeness, distance, there's an emotional layer.
So putting these together, it shows that social English often starts with these predictable ways to make plans and then uses really relatable kind of low-stakes topics, weather, family, to build bridges.
It's the connective tissue, you know?
Okay, from connecting outwards, the source brings it back inwards again, talking about personal life. Habits, hobbies, well-being.
Yeah, this is where you get into conversations about weekends or hobbies and free time. What do people actually do?
Relaxing, watching movies, hanging out with friends, hiking, trying new restaurants. It gets specific too, like mentioning a favorite trail or movie genre.
Action, comedy, romance. And hobbies, painting, guitar. It even mentions how long someone's been doing it for 2 years, which adds a bit of story.
Video games too, reading,
Oh.
like comics or specific novels. And it explicitly links reading to improving vocabulary. That's the source connecting the chat back to the learner's goal.
Absolutely. Then there's exercise and fitness. How often? Maybe 3 times a week. What kind? Yoga, jogging, weights, team sports like basketball.
Where you do a gym or home, even mentioning things like meditation, online videos.
And it connects activities to feelings or benefits, like hiking being healthy and relaxing, or nature being refreshing. It's not just a list, it's sharing the why.
Daily routines lays out a typical day. Morning coffee, checking email, getting ready. Then evening stuff like cooking, reading, TV, maybe practicing an instrument.
It makes the idea of routine very concrete. And breakfast gives you energy, planning keeps you organized, linking habits to function.
And importantly, it covers stress management. Simple strategies anyone can relate to. Music, meditation, a walk, talking to someone, reading, journaling.
Yeah, these topics are really rich because they're all about sharing who you are, your preferences, your routines, how you cope. It moves beyond just facts.
Talking about your hobbies or how you unwind, that's a big part of showing your personality, finding common ground on maybe a deeper level than just the weather.
Definitely.
The source also gets very practical again, preparing you for, well, navigating the world and handling necessary appointments.
Asking for directions. That's a classic. Getting at the train station, the pharmacy, the library.
And the kind of information needed. Go straight, turn left, use a landmark like past the bank or at the light, how far, maybe in minutes or blocks.
Or even suggesting another option, like take the number 5 bus. It's all about clear, spatial information.
Which ties into the transportation topic, how people get around. Pros and cons of the subway, driving issues like parking, benefits of walking.
Comparing options, stating preferences, or just the reality of the situation, like how you get to work.
And weather again, but as a functional conversation starter, sunny today, isn't it? That tag question invites agreement.
Linking it to activities perfect for a picnic. Talking about favorite seasons, checking the forecast. Simple, but always relevant.
Then a more, maybe serious scenario. At the doctor's office. Here, the language is about clear symptom description.
Right. Sore throat, headache, fever, how long, how bad, mild fever, did you take anything? And crucially, any allergies.
And the doctor's side. Checking things, offering a possible diagnosis like mild infection, and giving clear instructions, medicine twice a day, rest, drink fluids.
It's very structured. Problem, information gathering, solution.
And they even include the basic asking for help. Not about a specific problem, but the polite structure. Excuse me, can you help me find, followed by, thank you.
The source points out the confidence boost you get from successfully asking, and that reminder to always ask politely.
So yeah, these sections cover getting around physically and dealing with essential services. Needs clarity, specific words, following instructions. Pretty vital for just functioning independently.
Totally. And finally, the source gets into the fun stuff using English to talk about leisure, food, entertainment, travel, enjoying life.
Starting with eating out. Ordering specific dishes, grilled chicken, pasta, drinks. Asking how long the food might take.
And the source makes a point of emphasizing politeness, please, thank you, noting that good manners go a long way, linking the language to social behavior.
Then cooking and food. Favorite things to make spaghetti. Cookies. Following recipes versus just winging it. Trying international dishes.
And it explicitly says cooking is a fun way to practice English. Reading recipes, watching cooking shows. It connects the activity back to learning again.
Plus, food is such a great conversation starter, isn't it? Sharing recipes, talking pizza toppings.
Well, yeah. Then the quick coffee shop interaction. Ordering your specific coffee, medium latte, hot, no sugar, maybe adding a muffin. Asking the price, paying, It's a common little script.
Travel is a big topic, talking about where you've been, Spain, Canada, mentioning the food or sites, and where you want to go, like Japan.
How you plan research online, book early,
Hmm.
how you travel maybe by plane because it's fast and convenient. And again, the source links travel directly to improving language skills through real interaction.
Then movies, TV, books, listing favorites, Friends, The Office, certain classic novels, but also how people engage with them.
Using subtitles to help with listening, reading to build vocabulary, watching movies to catch pronunciation, the hobby becomes a learning tool.
Same idea with music, genres, playing instruments, favorite singers like Ed Sheeran or Adele, and how you can use music, listening to lyrics for pronunciation, singing along for rhythm.
Music connecting people too.
Holidays come up, discussing favorites like Christmas or Thanksgiving, the traditions, the food, turkey, pumpkin pie.
And the source suggests holidays are a perfect time to practice English with family, around the dinner table, sharing stories.
Talking about seasons, spring flowers, winter snow, autumn colors, what you enjoy about each, maybe winter sports, just appreciating the environment.
Pets too. Talk about your dog or cat, what they do, why pets are great companionship, joy, teaching responsibility.
Sharing that common experience of having or liking animals.
And lastly, another practical transaction, booking a hotel room. Specifying nights, room type double room with sea view, needing breakfast, confirming the price.
Providing ID, credit card, getting the room number, checking the checkout time. Very specific info exchange for a clear result. So what all these enjoyment sections really show is, well, how much of fluency is just being able to share your world, your taste, your experiences, what you like, what you need.
It's using language to connect over all these shared parts of just living.
So pulling it all together, this source material, it's not just random dialogues, is it? It feels like a curated journey.
Yeah, definitely. Through the most common, most essential communication tasks you face every day. Starting simple, building up.
And the big message woven through it all, the source keeps repeating it, is practice, practice, practice.
Regular practice really helps. Keep practicing every day. Consistency is key. It hammers that home.
And it gives that direct advice to the learner, which I think is telling. Things like, don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Speak as much as you can. The more you speak, the better you get. Build step by step. Stay motivated. Don't give up.
It acknowledges it's hard, but emphasizes just keeping at it. Persistence over perfection.
Yeah.
So this deep dive, it really feels like the source material is a roadmap, not just for words, but for situations. And mastering these situations, even with the occasional or a mistake.
That's how you build that real, usable fluency for navigating daily life.
Exactly. Being able to get around, connect with people, share your experiences in English, one conversation at a time.
We've covered a lot, from waking up and getting coffee,
To buying groceries, making plans with friends, talking hobbies.
finding your way if you're lost, dealing with a sore throat, sharing meals, booking travel, enjoying a movie.
When you see how much of everyday life, the totally normal stuff and the things we enjoy is captured in these kinds of conversations.
It really makes you think.
Yeah, what other interactions, maybe the ones that are less obvious or less structured than these examples, are just as vital for learners to really feel fully fluent in the kind of messy, unpredictable flow of real daily life?